What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So I want to give you a good update what the latest out of Saudi Arabia is for Lucid, and also what the hell is going on with today, why we went up first thing, why we just completely plummeted, all that fun jazz. But before I get into any of that though, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. Live ticker is going at the very bottom of the screen, almost down 4% give or take, 9.6 million for volume, 18 the average, and 341,000 shares being purchased by institutions just today alone, and that's on the secondary market. So one common thing with today is institutions are really taking a step back, both on the secondary market and also the dark pool. It is very, very small. These are the only transactions as of right now that's being done on the dark pool. So again, institutions are really taking a step back. And even if you look at this intraday chart, we had it was very optimistic. I saw the market, I was like, wow, we're in the 15s once again, definitely going to do a lot of good things. And then bam, we just got slammed against a wall. And the IMF is to thank for that. Well, in reality as well, we did have a little bit more bad economic data coming from initial jobless claims, a little bit higher than expected. But the IMF is warning of a higher recession risk and also darker global outlook. So in general, that is a pretty substantial deal if you ask me. So this is why we just plummeted to high hell first thing in the morning. So let me know your thoughts on that. It is that time of season, ladies and gentlemen. New round of 13Fs is coming down the pipeline. And so right now, not really any big institutions to really talk on, but oddly enough, there was a very interesting one that did increase their position. So anyone that is green is a brand new position. So you do see a equity index fund institutional class. So the fact that 428,000 shares were purchased of Lucid for this, that is a pretty big deal if you ask me. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more 13Fs coming down the pipeline. But in reality though, it's the big players, the BlackRock, the Vanguard, the PIF, that is where people care about. And speaking of the PIF, there was some news out of Saudi Arabia. So there was a podcast where they basically talked all about Lucid and their 2030 plan and all that fun stuff. It goes over some initial investments, so 1.8 billion and then 200 to 300 million almost every single year. I do anticipate they're largely talking about this, where it is that 3.4 billion in incentives and funding for the Saudi Arabia facility, because in here it goes over that they're going to be doing 3.4 billion over the next 15 years. I personally feel that's how they get to that, so I think this is what they're talking about. Over and above that though, they do talk on obviously supply chains and technically how they want to start off with the air and then move into the gravity. So I think that's going to be a very big deal. But when it comes to it, everyone wants the gravity. I think that's going to be the next big thing. That's what the market wants over and above the pure. But in reality, I don't personally feel that pure is going to be that successful in Saudi Arabia. I personally think that they're going to be having a little bit more of a higher class, more so with the higher end vehicle. So that's my own 2 cents. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But regardless of all the fear, the PIF and Saudi Arabia supports Lucid. So I think that's a more important takeaway from anything from today. So let me know your thoughts on that. But when it comes down to Saudi Arabia, I personally think as well that they're going to have a little bit more of a battle, because we all know about their 2030 plan and Lucid being a part of that. But in the grand scheme of things though, especially more so what's coming out of OPEC, definitely going to show some signs of a clash. And what I mean by clash is when it comes to Saudi Arabia, we already know that they make a ton of money from oil. But when it comes to it though, I think there's a good correlation with the price of oil versus the demand for EVs. And so as of right now, it does look like Saudi Arabia and Russia are agreeing to massive cuts in oil output. So in reality, that's going to make it a little bit more incentivizing for people to buy ICE vehicles and continue to buy ICE vehicles. Of course, I could be completely wrong. The demand and charts all definitely say otherwise, but the latest charts and the news that's been coming out have all interpreted and had oil at higher prices. So the fact that they're trying to cut oil definitely is a little bit more inconsistent with an EV movement. So let me know your thoughts on that. It might be absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things, but definitely something you need to factor in when you are thinking about Saudi Arabia. Clearly there might be a little bit more of a battle. But like I said, based on everything, the technicals are showing still fairly good despite us being down almost 4% give or take, but it's that central Bollinger Band. As I've been saying over the last couple of videos, that is something that we will really need to work hard to get over. So we need a lot of good buying pressure, and unfortunately that's just not the case. Like I said at the very beginning, big money isn't necessarily buying Lucid right now. Whether they're just more fearful about IMF or they're just shorting it, I don't know. There's a lot of different theories out there, but in reality we failed to get over that central Bollinger Band. So that's something we need to factor in, and technically right above that is that 50-day moving average that we've always just really battled with. We flirted with quite a lot and just never really have enough to get over that. So the 50-day moving average right now is $16.41. But despite the pullback today, the number of retail investors is going down a little bit, and that's seen by the momentum indicator. Stochastic, we do have that nice deviation, so black line above the red. Despite us going down, we have a bullish sentiment right now. RSI is also at 43, but I think right now the technicals aren't all bad. Some are very optimistic. So I think in general though, right now we do have a lot of opportunity, and if you are one of those individuals that can take advantage of these prices and average down, then I highly suggest in doing so, especially if that is part of your longer term plan. Lucid right now is going to have a lot of volatility until they actually get production down pat. Hopefully their Q3 earnings might be a good representation of that, and hopefully what came out from Rivian will definitely mimic exactly what happens with Lucid. But still, when it comes to Lucid though, you're investing in long term, not necessarily so much in short term. I say that quite a lot because I definitely do mean that. But keep in mind, these videos are for only entertainment purposes. So in the end, I hope you are entertained by all this. But generally, let me know your thoughts on Lucid. If you think it's going to go down, up, where it's going to go from here. If you are worried about the IMF warning, definitely let me know in the comments below as well. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe, as always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.